Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
All right, welcome back to Real Estate on the Rocks. I'm Dave Snowberger. I'm joined back in the studio with my favorite person at the table, Alicia Hooper.
What's up?
James raised his hand up in the air, but
what's going on?
Not necessarily. James is one of my favorite people also.
Mostly.
What's wrong?
He had something on his eye. Squirrel, sorry.
Let's keep moving on here. We were talking about last time what was our topic last time, Alicia?
The 6 key questions to ask when selecting a brokerage.
All right. Where were we at? We were at solo versus team?
Yes.
Okay. And we went with team is much better?
No.
Or do what's best for you.
That's right. Absolutely. Right. Yep. Do
what's best for you. And once again, let's just hop into the topic again. Let's do solo versus team. Why? Really, would they choose solo? I mean, what is that? What's the right qualifying questions to go into a brokerage and ask? You know, I mean, typically because you can't really start at a brokerage with a team unless you join a team, right? So I want to make sure that that's clear there.
Sure.
Was that already evident and I'm just kind of overstating?
Well, my concept on that was to make sure that you have the opportunity to join a team because not every brokerage supports that system.
Right.
So if you are not somebody who feels confident in approaching this industry solo, make sure that your brokerage that you select allows you to join a team.
Right. What other brokerages out there don't support teams? Do you know any of off that?
I only know about KW.
Some of the solo, like boutique, not solo, but the boutique brokerages.
Oh, okay.
Not to have
so smaller brokerages don't. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't even look into it either.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean,
just from what I've looked over the past couple of years, year or so.
Yeah.
Through different teams or organizations and stuff, and then getting the messages from, different ones.
Yeah.
They pretty much court you for solo work underneath their brokerage because there's a lot of them the size of a team.
Sure. So it's like you're on a team. You're just at a boutique brokerage.
Yeah. It's like a large team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So let's dispel some myths real quick, though.
Sure.
Joining a team versus being solo. Yeah. Solo, we could write it on the board. Actually, I owe you this information about starting the team and how my
like where you were production.
Right. Production increased when I formed the team.
Right.
Obviously, you'd think it would, right? And
yep.
So, what's that look like?
Sure.
Go for it.
Hold on. What's the question? Okay, so it depends on who you are as an individual.
Right.
Okay, I came from marketing and sales for 11 years. So I was my boss. I had to hold myself accountable to do the things that I need to do on a daily basis to get patients in the door. I worked in a wound care center. So I knew that I would be okay going in solo because I have the self-motivation, self-drive, the discipline, etc. I knew I would be okay. That's not for everybody.
Right.
And that's okay. So if you need that guidance, if you come from a life of teams or support or whatever, then have that discussion. What does that look like?
Right.
Yeah. Was that the question?
Not really, but
okay, cool.
we'll keep winging it. It's always hard when we stop these episodes and we try to pick up where we were. I'll just be very transparent with everybody. I never like to BS anybody. So that's where we're having a hard time hopping back on topic here because it's a few days later and we're recording again. So the solo versus team thing. So I forgot where I was too. Let's just move on to growth opportunities then.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about some growth opportunities with the brokerage.
Well, that actually plays into the solo versus the team.
Right.
So as you grow your business, just make sure that your brokerage allows you to grow. So does that look like leverage in a team or, what does that look like?
And what's that look like with our current brokerage? I believe it's like 6 million plus in sales.
Correct. So once you hit that 6 million production mark, then you can entertain the idea of starting a team.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then that's when you can have basically one cap I don't think all brokerages are like this. Once again, it's only one I really know is the one I'm a part of right now, is that I can have one cap, which a cap is the brokerage you pay or the money you pay into the system. So say you're on that 70-30 split, that 30% you pay in, that should be typically, at the split that we're at, should be roughly $2.1 million in sales or something like that.
Something like that.
And so once I pay there, I'm 100% commission, correct?
Correct.
And so, when I'm able to actually add to the team that you're the bare minimum of $6 million, and I thought you were supposed to keep up also. Like I think in the bylaws, you're supposed to keep that production going. You have to remain over $6 million. You can't just do $6 million and then next year you have a team of 4 people and it falls out to $3 million.
Sure.
I'm sure they'll let you do it one year, but year after year, if you don't maintain the 6.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, but like our team is that we have 4 people on the team and then we're all under one cap.
Right.
Right. And so we have our splits done with the team, everything like that. So that's one thing that I wanted to go back to. We were talking about splits, which I don't want to get into commissions. However, we get a lot of things all the time about agents that approach us that want to join our team. And they're like, yeah, but you take all my commission. And I'm like, actually, you're plugging and playing into my system and my leads and everything like that. That's my commission.
Right.
I'm giving you half of it.
Right.
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 And so I'm giving you whatever the split is. I'm giving you 60% or 70% or 30%.
Well, that's a great point too, because every team operates differently, just like every brokerage operates differently, right? So when you're interviewing teams, make sure you're asking, okay, what are you providing me for me to be on this team?
Right.
Because every team is different.
Do you provide leads? I know like on my team, we do, our people don't touch paperwork.
Right.
You write the contract.
Yeah.
You negotiate the contract. And as soon as it's an escrow, you pass the contract on to the admins.
Yep.
And then from there, they babysit the contract and you just check in every once in a while.
That's right.
And when something goes haywire, you're there to fix it.
Right.
And then that's the way we don't take away from our lead generation. Right. And so that's the way because when we first started this, that was the thing, was that we would get super busy. Right. And so we would spend everything we do today pays off on 40, 60, 90, 30, 60, 90,
30, 60, 90.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then, once we hit that 90, we're at that top where everything's flowing, right? Well, that whole 90 days, we got so busy of just lead generating and going and closing the deals now. So that first month, all we did was lead generate. Then we went on the appointments and then we got the contracts and then we started to close them, right? At that 90 days, everything starts falling off. And that's where the ebbs and flows came from.
Right.
It was
that's the roller coaster.
Right. It was up and down, up and down, up and down. And so we saw it in our business big time. And so how we got rid of that was doing more. And being specific with that stuff is leverage, is getting all the supplemental BS off of our plates. And all we are salespeople, right? And so I've talked in the past that we're not salespeople. So all we are is relationship builders.
That's right.
All we're doing is qualifying people, finding their motivation, and going out and finding problems to solve and helping people. And at the end, we can keep this going. Our ebbs and flows are still there, but the trajectory line is nothing but up. And I'm using my hands a lot, and, and I really enjoy that you're following them with your eyes. It's fantastic.
I can't help it.
I was like, man, I'm really painting a visual for her.
It's working.
Anyway, so is that what you see? I mean, right now you're solo. I know that you want to grow the team. However, right now we're at a standpoint about something. Is that your next step? Do you start leveraging it off your plate? Do you put a good contract coordinator in place?
Right.
Maybe the first person for you to hire is not an agent.
Maybe it's an admin.
It's an admin.
Right.
To release all that stuff so you can still work both sides of the deals, the buyers and the sellers.
Sure.
Maybe it's not time to unleash or kick the buyers to the curb yet.
Right.
Right. So
very true.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So, leverage is key. So when you allow yourself to step away from those items, like you said, you'd be surprised how much more you can do. Right. So that's stress that's on my plate, because right now I'm doing everything. I have a financial goal. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to save so I can hit this financial goal. However, I'm killing myself. So let's leverage, spend that little bit of money to make a lot more money. Right.
Yep. It's easy to do. That's when I took on a coaching program.
Yeah.
Not everybody knows, but I had 2 coaches running at the same time. I more had a business coach and I more had a real estate coach, and I had 2 of them going at the same time, and it was a lot of money out of my pocket.
Oh, sure.
$2,100 plus a month, and for me to even bite that off or seek a coach was completely something I had never thought about before. But I started looking at some people, some testimonials, and finding out more about some folks in my marketplace that I went to a coaching event, and I saw all these people there that I kind of been looking at like, this person's doing a lot of business. How are they doing it?
Right.
And just kind of studying other people has always been my thing. And so I saw that they were in the coaching program, so I joined to see what it was all about. And I mean, we doubled production. I think we're a little over $15 million for the past 12 months. The year prior, we were probably 10, and the year prior to that, we were 6.
Yeah.
6 or 7 consistently for the past 3-4 years. And then all of a sudden it just kept shooting through the roof. And that was really kind of predicated on coaching, because I had not necessarily like, I know that I'm a self-starter. I know that I'm a leader. However, I wasn't thinking of everything out there.
Sure.
Right. And so these real estate coaches, that was their main thing, was to really work with the top agents in the U.S. and then all share ideas together. And it became like a very sharing community. So if somebody in San Diego was doing these videos, I think you should start doing those videos exactly how our other coaching client is doing them. And that's what I did. I started doing that kind of stuff and getting more well known.
Nice.
Doing that kind of stuff. And so I would recommend the coaching program. And that's one reason why we started Top Shelf Coaching was to bring people into our ecosystem and build all that.
Sure.
And so soon we'll be launching our program of a 90-day boot camp for, whatever, it's like $300, right? And so it's 90 days of actionable items that we put into a community, and we just kind of get everybody into it, and we only accept so many people, and then we start going. That's going to help tremendously. And I think part of that will be this whole thing about picking a brokerage, right? And so if you pick the brokerage right off the bat, no big deal.
Yeah.
If you join the wrong one and in 3 months you realize it, 6 months you realize it,
Switch it up.
interview 2-3 more brokers.
That's right.
If you need advice on brokers, call us. I'm with Keller Williams, and I can tell you there's other things out there that are appealing to me.
Sure.
However, I like where I'm at.
There you go.
There's no reason to move.
Right.
Right. And so go ahead.
I was going to say, this isn't like your traditional job sense where they're going to look at your stuff and be like, oh my gosh, she went to 5 different brokerages. What's happening?
Right.
Some people may, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, it's all about finding your place. Yeah. So if it takes 5 brokerages to find your place, make that happen.
Absolutely.
Yep.
James, you're on your 9th broker?
I've actually checked all 457 of them.
Oh, nice.
Is there 457 of them?
No, I didn't just made the number up.
I was like, that's an impressive
It's a big number.
Yeah. There probably are in Austin, Texas. There's 16,000 agents in Austin, Texas. And it seems there's 1,000 coming in every month.
Right.
And so, like I said, there was a stat out there that, 80% of the deals will be done by agents that are not in the business yet. In the next 5 years, 80% of the deals, real estate deals that are closed, are going to be closed by agents that don't even know they're going to have a real estate license yet.
Right.
And so I think that's
crazy.
mind-blowing.
It is.
Which is the 80-20 rule. The 20% of us that are in the top 20 in this market will continue to do what we do.
And produce the 80%.
There'll always be that fallout of that 80% under us. When people come check out the business, get hot and heavy, come in, do those things we had talked about in past podcasts, is come in, piss away all their money, not do it right, not have a business coach, not have a real estate coach, not listen to any direction whatsoever, beat on their chest. It's a very ego-driven business. We're all right about that, right?
Yep.
And so it's a very ego-driven business, so it's hard to tell these folks, anyone. It was hard to tell me that we had to do certain ways. I didn't get it until I made $4,800 my first year.
Yeah.
I always talk about that.
Right.
And I was like, dude, doing it your way is just not going to work.
Right.
You need to swallow your pride and start doing it like everybody else before you has done it. The road in real estate has already been paved.
That's right.
Right. There's no reason to, all those analogies about, no need to reinvent the wheel. There's none of that stuff. Just do the things you need to do. Go.
And no one is successful alone.
Yep.
That's very key to remember, because
absolutely not.
Especially for those solo agents, right? And I'm pointing at myself.
Right.
You cannot do this on your own. I promise you. If you have, call me. I want to have a conversation. Yeah.
That's
Seriously.
why I never liked the self-made millionaire phrase.
Yeah.
That literally is that there's no one is ever self-made. They all had a team. They all had people that helped drive and create it.
Absolutely.
100%.
Percent.
So I saw a topic when we were kind of doing some research and everything, and they were asking about a market share, or like whether you go through like big box or boutique or somebody who has some market share. Like my cousin was with the company and they had like no presence in that area in another state. And so she ended up switching to another brokerage that had more of a presence, had the team and the feel that she wanted. And also she could like do listings and she could do other things that she wanted to do. That was on her path.
Yeah.
So she made the switch. What do you guys think about whether the company is like has more market share or doesn't have a large market share, for picking your broker?
Dave?
I think it's the name on the jersey, not the color of the jersey. Mm-hmm. So, it's your name on the back of the jersey. So whether it be that team name that's well known in the market, it's all about you. And so, people do business with what? The people they know, like, and trust. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to say every single time. So everybody should probably just say it along with me.
On the count of 3.
Right. And so people they know, like, and trust. And so it doesn't have to be. Sometimes I've taken listings before of people that just wanted to work or went with me because I was with a big brokerage. Right. And so they knew the name. Well, I know your name and I didn't really know them. And I see your signs everywhere. So therefore, we went with you. However, these days, it's not the case.
No.
It's that I would like to think that I've built myself such a good name in the community that between my sphere of influence and then my regular lead generation tactics is that I can bring all that together and have a great enough business that I don't need a big box brokerage behind me. I still have one, but I don't need one. I realized that. Did I answer your question? But I just think that it's predicated on who you are, what your value purpose is or your value proposition is, and what you bring to the table as a real estate group.
That's right.
Right.
So it's towards the end of your priorities of things you need to know or that matter when you're picking your broker. That's towards the end. All the things that matter most are like just like splits are kind of towards the back. It's more of the training and the opportunity and what you'll do for the growth on that trajectory for it.
Right. It just happens to be that the big box brokerages have all the best training.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, the K-Dubs, the Remaxes, the EXPs, the C21s, Coldwell Bankers, and I know that
JB, all
up
of them.
north, there's other things, Long and Foster. There's my home group out in Arizona that's a massive 1,000-person brokerage that just freaking kills it. And I really, I expect them any day to expand into our markets, because they just run a great program out there. So there's stuff that we've never even heard of before, what I would consider big box brokerage. If you're going to a boutique that has 4 agents, it's going to be hard for you to get the training. I mean, the training's out there where anybody can get it these days. I mean, being the technology's at our fingertips and we can train really anywhere and train through YouTube, or there's certain things you can go and you can definitely find a program for everything to get trained on.
Sure.
However, if you don't know where to go find it, or if you're not thinking like that, or your brokerage or a sales manager or a team leader is not telling you where to go to get it, and you're not like you, a self-starter, you're going to kind of be dead in the water.
Sure.
And then you're going to add to that 80% fail out number in this.
Right.
And I believe it's actually 87%, so 80-20 rule doesn't even apply to new agents.
Right.
It's 87% fail out.
Crazy. All right. So to loop back.
You want to give us the whole rundown again?
Yeah, for sure. So money, aka splits, what's important to you, training and education, personal goals, make sure you have somebody who supports that, actual support, you have an option to reach out to your broker or a broker in the system, solo versus team, and growth opportunities. So that plays into the whole, can I grow a team?
Nice. And I would say that right there is that when you are interviewing brokerages, go ahead and interview brokerages for solo and for team.
That's right.
And so don't just go in there, I'm just going to be a lone wolf and go at this myself. Ask them, are you team friendly for 1? And 2, do you have 3 teams you can recommend me? And go. I know that where we're at, when the team leaders bring a recruit in, they kind of,
fill them out. Like, are you?
Yeah, I don't want to say shop them to us, but however, shop them to us.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, hey, this is this person. They do this, and this is where they live, or whatever else, and this is what they want to do with their career. Would they be a fit for you? I can throw them into a KPA or a DISC test.
Yeah.
And see if they're a match for us. And sometimes, we've looked at 5 people over the past 2 months, and I passed on every single one of them.
Yeah.
They just want to be a cultural match for us. They're good people.
Sure.
But I know us.
Yeah.
I know how we talk around here. I know what our visions are. I know that we spend a lot of time with building the unreal estate brand of this, of Top Shelf Agents and Real Estate on the Rocks podcast and the coaching program versus the real estate over here. And I know right now that I have on my team good people that can go out and lead generate and do those things. And I don't have to babysit this part over here.
Right.
And then over here, we split it up. And so if I've got to do a lot of hand holding right off the bat, it's not going to work.
Sure.
You know, because I am the team leader.
Right.
So I have to do it.
Right.
You know, and so if I don't have time for that person and don't find that their disc test doesn't read that they're a high D, you know, and then what happens there? I'm a high D, they're a high D, and then boom, we come in, it works for about 3 months, and then, you know, that's it. So anyway, we could talk about this kind of stuff all day long. How many minutes are we running here?
And just one more thing, just make sure that you know that you are the interviewer. You're the one asking the questions. You're not applying
for a job.
Correct. You are
selected. Feel like that at first.
And talk to as many as you want to, right?
Yeah. That's a funny thing. We interviewed a gal last week. Very nice. She's actually cool, and she'd be a great addition to the team. However, she's got us against the wall. Like, I don't know if I'd choose you.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was just, that's a first.
Boom.
Because it seems like people in an interview, and some people aren't going to want to hear this, you'll say anything to get the job.
Sure.
Right? And so people will go and say anything, but when it comes down to it, they don't do the things that they don't want to do at a high level, which we clearly explain it has to be part of your life.
Show me, don't tell me.
Right. And so we get all this stuff, and she comes in and just kind of like, well, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, but I don't know if you're a fit for me. I don't know if you're a cultural fit for me. And that was the first time I'd heard that.
Yeah.
It was refreshing.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, just kidding. No, but
that's awesome.
But actually, she called back. She called back with Marshall. Marshall's really the sales manager of the team. Called back to Marshall and was like, you know what? After interviewing 10 freaking brokers and 6 teams, which like 4 of those teams are in our market center.
Wow.
We chose you.
Nice.
Well, I chose you, and I was like,
Me.
I don't know if I chose you though. You know, it's like, oh, this is awesome, and I'll steer you every direction you want to go, and I'll help you in your career. However, we just made some moves over to a new office and some new things going on, and we have new studios, and we're gonna be spending a lot of time with that. That's why I started thinking about, man, am I the right fit for her to provide her all the training she needs right now? Us not being inside the market center anymore.
Right.
You know, that's the hardest thing is now we have our own.
Right.
You know, office.
Right.
And so we're not there with 500 agents anymore walking around where she can get help from anybody. It's just us.
Yeah. Yeah. You need somebody who's already been in.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, at least a year, or maybe how many years you've been in?
3.
Maybe somebody 3 years.
Nice
wink,
segue.
wink.
Nice segue.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you need to reach us, you can hit us at info@realestateontherocks.com. You can send us a text to Top Shelf at, send a text to 8800.
Yep.
And the word Top Shelf, whatever.
Yeah. We'll work on that.
Yeah, just send a text to Top Shelf at 8800.
Yep. And
we'll get that. We'll know who you are, and we can reach out, kind of be specific of why you're contacting us. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us. We have minimum requirements for that. We really just want to interview other professionals like us around the around the marketplace.
Around the world.
Whatever, around the world. I got to get out of here. I need coffee or something. Something's going on here. I'm fading her. Yeah.
B12 is wearing off.
Yeah.
I guess so.
B12 is be gone.
Oh, boy. Anyway. Mike Harrell, guaranteed rate. Give him a shot. The dude is a complete mortgage badass
Guru.
Yeah. So I know that you're riding around Ferraris these days, it looks like. Hanging out with somebody else cheating on a lender.
My bad.
All right.
Get a Ferrari, Mike.
Yeah. He's got a Maserati, actually.
Oh, nice.
He's got a Ferrari engine. So he's almost there.
He's getting there.
He's got a 4-door Ferrari, pretty much. So anyway, thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.